Lana looked out over the clear blue water and smiled. Today was the day she had been training for since she was 5 years old. Soon that cool, refreshing water would be her home, and the people of her village wouldn't suffer at the hands of a god who cared nothing for them. If she had it her way, she would send the waters rippling through the valley and into the surrounding villages so they wouldn't have to travel as far to collect their water. Songs about her fierce battle, bravery, and unending stamina would be sung through the halls of Torn. It would be glorious. The smile wavered as she remembered her younger brother, and how he lost his life to the sea. A boating accident took both her father and brother, and left her mother heartbroken and mad with anguish. If she were the water god, no ship would ever be lost at sea again. No more sailors would die by the water's cold grasp. It is time, Lana. Are you ready? Elder Ben stood beside her, the book of calling in his hand. She nodded her head and swallowed down the small twinge of doubt that surfaced in the back of her throat. She would either slay the god or die trying. There was no other option. The chubby older man opened the book. When he found the page he was looking for, he stretched his staff out towards the water and recited the passage. We call on you, great god of water. Come to us now and show us your supreme power and might. We are your humble servants asking for you to grant us an audience with you. Come now from your watery bed. He struck the water with the staff 3 times, then stepped back. Seconds later, the water started to bubble and churn. A large spout of water burst up, spraying anyone too close. When the spray of water dissipated, the god of water stood before them with her arms crossed. Who dares to call on me? Lana took a deep breath before stepping forward. I challenge the god of water to see if she is still fit to be a god. The woman's hands dropped to her side, and she walked across the water, stopping inches from where Lana stood. I am a goddess. Her eyes roamed up and down Lana, taking in her small frame. This is the best person you have to challenge me. She isn't even worth my time. The goddess turned to walk away. So it's true then, you are scared to battle a mortal? The woman stopped mid-stride and spun on one foot. Fury burned in her eyes. I am not scared. I accept your challenge. Let the fight begin. Without warning, the water goddess propelled a sheet of water at Lana. The force of the water was so great it forced her to take several steps back. She knew what she had to do, but right now the task seemed impossible. When the wall of water collapsed onto the dry earth, the goddess threw her head back and laughed. You are no match for me. Give up now, girl, and I will spare your life. Fire burned through Lana's veins. A secret weapon few knew about, and the only way she could defeat the water goddess. She allowed the fire to course through every inch of her body, her anger adding fuel to the fire. Lana pulled her sword from its sheath. She had to get closer. Without thinking, she plunged into the icy water and swam towards the target of her rage. With a smirk on her lips, the water goddess stretched out her hand towards Lana. Water shot up towards the sky and formed a shimmering wall behind her. She forced herself to push forward despite the fear that gripped her chest. The wall of water came crashing down over her head, pushing her under the water. She sucked in a deep breath just before the water swallowed her up. Bubbles and foam clouded her vision as she struggled to push her way through the water to the top. She clung fast to her sword, knowing if she lost it, she would lose her only chance at defeating the evil water goddess. Her head burst through the surface just as she thought her lungs would pop from lack of oxygen. She gasped and sputtered as the woman standing on the water looked down at her and laughed. You can't defeat me. I'm a god. She twisted a finger in the air, sending a long tornado of water swirling upward. When she closed her fist, the tornado of water wrapped itself around Lana and lifted her several feet into the air. Thanks to the goddess and her tricks with water, Lana was right where she wanted to be, inches away from the goddess's heart. This was her one and only chance. She couldn't stop the smile that tugged at the corners of her mouth. You are dead, girl, why are you smiling? The woman narrowed her eyes and glared at the girl trapped in the swirling water. Your arrogance is what will kill you. Lana let the fire flow through her veins and into the sword until it burned red hot. With one swift motion, she plunged the sword through the water god's heart. The golden-haired woman's eyes went wide as she glanced down at the sword sticking out of her chest. The water holding Lana captive disappeared back into the ocean, dropping Lana several feet into the water. The water goddess bubbled and boiled until she dissolved into nothing. Nothing was left of her. The ocean simply absorbed her into itself and carried her away. The townspeople cheered behind Lana, drawing her out of the daze she was in. Her mother always told her she was special, and could do anything she set her mind to. Until that moment, she never truly believed she could ever defeat a god.